Are we live?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and friends and family of Quack and Smite League, thank you for joining us for another wonderful night. We have a beautiful lineup for you again this evening. Tonight, we will be watching the King's Knights facing off against the Arc Lords. I am your host, Jiren Lamb, and I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Hercules.
How's everybody doing tonight? Doing well here.
We got quite an exciting night planned for you. I hope you're willing to stick around for a while because this is going to be an exciting night to be watching.
Picks and bands.
All right, I'm excited for this. It's always fun watching picks and bans because you get to look at what is it that they're thinking about. What is it that they're doing? What is the plan?
Yeah, same as always. Trying to take over the world.
We'll actually be jumping right into it as the Arclords will be banning Athena and Set. The King's Court will be responding with Persephone and Gilgamesh bans. Arclords will finalize the top three with the Tiamat. I like it. All very, very, very solid bans. Very strong picks as well.
Yeah, definitely agree on that. Agree on that as we go into these picks and bands. I'm gonna flex myself, I guess. We might see probably a Suki band. Suki band. Oh my gosh, I'm freaking great.
Like I said, you got
Like,
to know what they're thinking.
hey, just get
Big brain.
bit been there, done that. That's all I'm saying.
We end up seeing the Chiron first picked. We've seen a lot of Chiron lately.
Yeah, Kyra with that blue stone meta has been going around a lot lately, which is just absolutely taken like leagues and casuals by and even ranked by storm. And it just
It really
absolutely
has.
providing so much damage. Can you believe it that Chiron was one of the worst junglers in season 7, but now is one of the best in season 8?
Junglers. I
Uh,
don't see Chiron in jungle very often.
carrier,
I don't know about
carry,
you,
get
but I don't see
carry.
him.
My bad. I'm drinking. We're drinking.
I mean, we're watching Smite. It's kind of a requirement.
Shit. There
But
we
we will
go.
actually see Giannis and Soul locked in. Giannis is still a good pick. He's still pretty strong. He's still doing everything he needs to do in mid lane. Soul is been seeing a lot of popularity in the carry lane, doing quite a bit of damage, especially in the late game where she thrives really well. Has a very solid kit, gives her a lot of utility to pull things off.
For
And in
Camelot!
retaliation, we'll
For
see King
Avalon!
Arthur locked in, another very popular solo laner. But I'm interested that they didn't first pick the Kukulin. He seems to be the more popular first choice.
Well, King Arthur is definitely one of those high priority solo landers. Just if you're super comfortable in King Arthur, I don't think there's any shame in picking it over the Colin. But I think at that point it's just personal preference exactly what you want to do with your life.
True. It can also fall to comfort picks, as we end up seeing Yamoja picked up. Yamoja is a
Tremble
very
beneath the
solid support,
waves!
gets quite a bit of utility just from the healing that she's able to provide for her team, as well as the ultimate locking people down. River's Buke is very solid in forcing people to stay and fight, and there's the Kukulkan pickup.
Where are you going?
The
Yeah,
reason why I find it interesting that they went King Arthur is normally you see Kukulkan's getting a little bit of extra pressure on the King Arthur and actually doing a little bit better in waves against him. Now, King Arthur can certainly still work out if you know how to play it, and I'm willing to bet that he does know how to play it. King Arthur can be a very solid pick, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I just don't see it too often, you know?
yeah, I get that. Uh, yeah, I see Achilles JC on the Cucullin all the time, but he is also a King Arthur fan. I just think if you're a soul laner in general, that you're willing to flex on both picks, and you're gonna see it if you're playing King Arthur and Cucullin. You're going to see that matchup all the time, and
Oh yeah,
just you're used to it by this point. At this point,
pretty
and
much.
probably not particularly worried about it. Other than you're going to go into it knowing that one of y'all is going to do a lot of damage. And what is this? A
We see
Haraban.
we see Scylla banned, then we see Sobek banned, and then the Hera banned. And the response is a Fenrir ban. Three of those are very popular and solid picks. Hera I don't see very often. I don't remember the last time I actually saw the Hera. It's been quite a while. As we actually see Loki locked in, who made it through the bans. Loki
Yeah.
is a very strong jungle right now. He's got a lot of utility, which I absolutely despise because I don't like Loki.
Well, definitely not the only one.
True.
Death
And instead
awaits.
of that, we'll also see the Chang'e and Thanatos. Thanatos getting locked in, as
And
well
She's
as the
just
Chang'e.
stunning.
Both are very solid gods.
I've always liked Shanga. I've always
Chang'e is
liked her.
also good into the Giannis matchup because she can dance around and avoid a lot of the damage from that unstable vortex. And speaking of utility of it, Ganesha is actually going to be coming out. Chunga goes pretty decent if you can get out of the Ganesha
I will leave
silence. You can
standing no
dance out of his
barrier to
ultimate, the
our
Dharmic Pillars,
success.
and escape.
Hey,
Especially with the healing that Chunga has, that's a lot more sustain that Giannis doesn't have access to until he gets items online.
apparently we seem to be a little quiet. Let me turn everybody up here. Give me another check. Joe. I mean, Lamb, sorry. Lamb, give me
Everybody always, everybody always talks
okay.
about me being quiet. It's like,
Okay. Well, you do talk you do talk very quiet. I have to boost your volume up a lot in order for get the stream to hear you.
true, but
You you and Nep
I just,
like to talk in ASMR.
that's the point. I want to tickle their ears, dude.
Please do not. I want-
And today we're here with Quack and Smiley.
Where's my freaking God, I hate this thing so much. Okay. I really do. Honestly hate technology most of the time.
I feel
I
that.
honestly do. It is so annoying to be playing with all this stuff at the same time, especially when my computer just decides that my mouse is not going to show up on the computer. Okay.
No monitor for you, I guess.
Oops. And oh, this goes right here. Oh,
As we're
oh.
looking at everybody starting to buy their items, I do actually spot the Ganesha picking up a Sentinel's gift. That's something that I don't see super often, but I do still like Sentinel's gift. I don't think it's bad necessarily. I just think a lot of people prefer that the utility of Compassion just outshines it a little bit late game. And
Um.
especially being able to offer the early gold, that GB5 comes in really clutch.
Well, the nice part about Sentinel's Gift in my IMO, in my opinion is just Sentinel's Gift on passive supports is just freaking great with Ganesh's passive of always being able to get those able to get those assists
Oh yeah,
is so good to that passive of Sentinel's Gift, which is just going to enable him to practice more, and he's gonna be, and once he upgrades that to Sentinel's Embrace, he's gonna be passing out a lot of protections, or as many as he can give out, and it's going to be going to be very good for him.
very very true.
But unfortunately, Sentinel's has not been in the meta lately, but we can hopefully see that they do come out. I think there is a pause going on that is
Looks
not
like it.
stasis mode.
The other two things I see that I am interested to see how they'll go is on Kukulin we see the Warrior's Axe, which Warrior's Axe is still definitely good, and I have zero problems with it. Warrior's Axe is a fantastic item. I just don't see it too often on Kukulins. So
Yeah,
I'm very interested to see how this is going to end up turning out because I do love seeing it come out. It's always an interesting turn of events because you always see a Bluestone picked up, unless it's a Guardian solo, and then you normally will end up seeing something like the Vampiric Shroud. But hey, I'm interested to see where it goes. It's certainly not a bad item. And then the other one is we see Eye of the Jungle on Thanatos. A lot of the times I see people opt for Bumba's Dagger being very strong early, just extremely solid in its own right. Or sometimes I occasionally see people try and go for the Mannequin Scepter to try and go for that Hidden Blade late. And we actually see Karen dashing in and will actually pluck the soul back, giddy up, actually providing a lot of utility in that duo lane.
yeah, big for first blood for the Archon dragons. I forgot to update update the names on the overhead. If we can give me just a little second to do that.
You're fine.
Mm.
It's about the first minute and a half of the game. There usually isn't a whole lot going on, but we do actually see an early kill being picked up. Chiron, that giddy up was actually huge as we see him towering in player damage. 500, whereas most people aren't barely hitting 200. Although, as I said, here we see King Arthur just gaslighting it. But King Arthur will actually be very, very low against that Cuchulainn, and he will be forced to back
Oh,
off.
it is lords, not dragons. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, we should be all finally set on that.
Fine and dandy here, and we actually see Chunga and Thanatos. Looks like they went for a little bit of a jungle invade. And they're now going to be dropping in on this Giannis. The silence coming out going to dish out a lot of damage before he can portal out. The burst from Thanatos, especially in the early game in the first few levels, is massive.
Exactly. The one thing that something that I was talking with some people about this was going up against a Chiron Geb duo lane, and so one thing that was suggested is to not pair Geb with Chiron because Chiron likes the early pressure. So, one thing that will helps give you pressure in lane is definitely this Yamoja pick. Now, for that, a Yamoja Chiron duo is definitely going to get you definitely get you more pressure than the Ganesh Soul.
At least in the early game, it certainly is very, very good utility because Umoja can multicast those abilities, the Bouncing Bubble and the Moonlight Charge. It does do quite a bit there, especially if you can cast multiple uses of the ability at the same time and hit them. Whereas Ganesh, his primary damage to wave is just his 1, which is still a decent amount of damage, but it's not enough to full clear wave for quite some time. Whereas Soul is a lot stronger late game than early game, I feel like. Whereas Chiron benefits a lot from early game pressure. So it's interesting to see we now actually see a level lead on the Yamoja over that Ganesh that Soul just finally closed. A slight XP lead for the Archon Lords here. But Chiron and Yamoja are very, very strong early game, especially with the Chang'e, Thanatos, and King Arthur. This is a lot of early game pressure, and they can hit really hard early on. Especially because there's a Cuchulainn, Loki, Giannis, Ganesh, and Sol on the other team. They do have the ability to counteract what the aggression that the other team gets and use it to their advantage so that they can't quite play for that late game quite as effectively while half their team is playing for early.
Very good sentry ward, but like, okay. He's going for the ult. I know he is. Oh, come on.
It's Loki. He's always going for the ult. As we actually see the blue buff invade coming out. King Arthur walking away with a little bit of damage.
But it does look like Colin was able to secure it though. He is wearing the blue buff.
This is very true. King Arthur has just run out as well, so we know that Cuchulainn did end up getting it. Feels bad though when you try and invade the blue buff, but it isn't successful.
Speaking of which,
Loki was waiting for the red buff.
Yeah, he was looking for the red buff because they're on the same timer, and was like, okay, well, I guess it's not coming up.
Just was dropped. This could be a lot of early damage. Huge burst coming out from the Loki. That's a lot of damage onto that Chiron. Especially as you see Assassinate coming out. It's going to force Chiron's beads to come out as it giddy ups away out of that situation. As we now see 4 people in that lane.
Yeah.
Man, that was a big rotation on that Chiron.
I honestly, I think he dropped that kill, which is just unfortunate for him. he missed the last strike on his 3, and that could have meant that he could have possibly have finished him off. But yeah,
It
you know
certainly
what?
would have been close, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he had him for sure.
It looked like he very well would have had it too. Just an unfortunate situation. But it did force his bead, so as soon as that assassinate is back up, they can try again. And this time, Karen won't have beads to get him out of that sticky situation, especially that stun. Thanatos, hovering death coming up. Holy crap. That Giannis took massive amounts of damage from that. Landed and just dropped the one. Just fell. Loki actually coming in to sweep through, pick up the kill on that Chang'e as we see Ganesh Dharmic Pose coming out, trying to focus on this. Thanatos is already low HP, but he will be able to sneak out of that fight with a little bit of health remaining.
Yeah. Hey, every villain has its redeeming qualities. Like Loki picking up that kill there. But and you go, don't forget another gank.
Here we see, and he does not have beats this time, and the ult does come out. It's going to be, as well as combined with the soul ult, he takes a massive amount of damage. He's going to try and pop the ult to try and survive that, but he can't quite finish off the kill, and Loki will end up getting credit for that kill on the Chiron.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was definitely some revenge, I'm surprised his ult came up that quickly, unless my internal timer's that bad.
It does feel like Loki ult is on a pretty low cooldown, but I like it was really great awareness and coordination from the Knights to get that gank right as Chiron's on the tower line as well, dropping both ults practically on top of each other. So as soon as Chiron got stunned by Assassinate, the soul just unleashed hell upon him.
Yeah,
We see King Arthur ulting onto this Kukulkan, who will then transform. King Arthur's actually going to have to pop beads to survive that onslaught from Kukulkan.
yeah. Once again, just how we were talking about earlier in this game. Oh, that's a really bad rotation.
There's a very big rotation. Sadly, it doesn't quite yield a whole lot of results, as we see Through Space and Time coming out as well.
Yeah, well, won't do anything, and Loki's coming in.
Loki's coming in not too low, and Arthur is pretty tanky right now. So it looks like he's just gonna, yep, he's just gonna opt to go ahead and back off and look for farm elsewhere.
Yeah.
Fishing in these parts of the waters was just a little bit too deep for his boat. So we do still see him in the area. Is he going to look for the gank, or is he going for the blue buff? Looks like he's going to opt for the gank, as we see Kukulkan coming out as well. Thanatos is going to be ulting as we see Soul and the Dark Pillars coming out as well. And King Arthur will end up falling to that gank, with Kukulkan finalizing the kill onto the King Arthur.
And the gank on her, the solo kill was it? I think it was maybe a solo kill. I wasn't 100% sure if the Loki was over there. Over there for that game, or for that gank onto the
looking at the cooldown
and just
looking at the cooldown timer on his ultimate, I'd say Loki was definitely in the area.
Okay, gotcha. I wasn't really sure if that was contributed. Could if I had the ability, I would just go ahead and make you a mod right now, so you can just take care of it. We'll get that in a little bit. And with that kill on the Hunker, that gives Achilles JC a 1 level lead. Good damage.
And especially on the Kukulkan.
Oh!
That was a huge snipe coming out from Through Space and Time. A lot of damage coming out.
Yeah, I'll say. it locked him down into a small little space, which gave Giannis a perfect opportunity to just send his ult straight down the bowling alley.
It really was. I actually see Gold Fury being pulled as well. Karen is going to be looking to try and stop it though. Umoja is here to help him, but we do have 4 bodies on there. Loki is
I
also
wonder
looking
if
to try and
Chiron
wrap around.
uses. I wonder if Chiron. Oh
Thanatos
no!
death comes out of nowhere and will burn through his HP bar. That's a dead Ganesha.
Man, that was nuts.
That was all the way from mid lane as well.
Yeah.
That was a deep jump.
Oh man. So definitely, I think a missed opportunity from the Knights there. We'll see what ends up happening with that. The bold move, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off for him.
It was a very, very bold move. A very deep ult too. I respect that play. He came in
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
He really did. I didn't even know he was coming down. I wish I had queued onto him so I can get that ult. I got him out of the corner of the screen, but man.
Honestly, I saw him moving over the wall. And I'm like, wait, is he ulting or is that just the movement speed from his 2? And then I just see him dropping in out of the sky, and I just see Ganesh just disappear off the screen.
Oh,
We actually have King Arthur rotating for his Gold Fury too. This is a 5-man push onto this, but the jig is up. Everybody does know that it's here now. Giannis is going to be taking a lot of damage. Chiron will end up finishing off that kill. Giannis was going very forward as we see Hovering Death coming out again to try and force the team off that drop onto the soul, dishing out a lot of damage. It's going to force that beat to come out. So this beat is going to be coming out, but Thanatos will still end up picking off the kill in the end, as we see King Arthur ult coming out on top of that Kukulin, as well as the River Speaker from Yobajucha, as King Arthur and Kukulin have been duking it out, as we see Chiron ult coming out as well, as he's getting dropped out too low to fight anymore, and Thanatos will end up finishing off the kill on Kukulin, but Kukulin will still get the credit for the kill onto the Chiron, as we see a continued fight. Loki is now trying to fight this as well, but he's in bad situation, but he does pick off a double stun, as Ganesh will be helping him and will end up giving off the kill to Loki, but Thanatos will come out with the triple kill onto that Loki, shutting him out. Giannis is back alive. Ganesh will fall as Thanatos picks up a Quadra. Blazing Raven with a huge teamfight dynamic, picking off 4 kills in one fight. Beautiful display from him.
Yeah, great quadra coming from Blazing Raven to be able to impact that team fight with Thanatos ult going right onto the soul for the start, and being able to get that pick at the very beginning of that fight onto the Giannis was just absolutely what they needed for that fight.
Actually, if Thanatos had secured that kill in the beginning, would that have been a delayed penta? Would it have counted for him, or would
I
it
don't think so.
have just reset and gone back to the quad? Because the new timers are kind of whack. Regardless, I still think it was a huge play. That was beautiful. Beautiful display.
Yeah, great job from the Archon Lords for that, and for that fight, we'll get him a good
Good difference in
XP
XP. You can see him just jump up.
Yeah, but at this point, it is still anybody's ball game. The Knights are definitely not out of this yet.
They are not out of it yet by a long shot. It is still 8-6. We're about 16 minutes in, and it's only about 1,000 gold lead. Nothing insurmountable by any means. It still could be anyone's game, but right now, our Crown Lords do have a really solid team fight going for them, So it's very possible that their early aggression could be paying off, and their powerhouse early may very well be getting them what they need. King Arthur is able to hold off Cuchulainn, but Cuchulainn does have a lot of power against him.
They're starting it
That
up.
warrior's, that warrior's axe and the mystical mail are putting in quite a bit of value. Doesn't have too much in the duo lane though, as Chiron, along with the rest of the team, are going to be pulling off that Gold Fury, but they're going to drop it to try and chase to see if they can pick off this Giannis a little bit early in this fight again. So he's going to be forced to back out by the Chiron.
Oh,
Thanatos is going up in the air. He's looking for it already.
that's Aegis
Does not
from
quite
Soul.
connect.
That is,
Popping that Aegis is still going to be a very, very big pull because now Soul is scared. Doesn't have that extra safety, so the Lords are going to be able to pull this Gold Fury uncontested for the first half of its HP bar, and Rivers would be shutting off any chance of them getting anywhere near it. Archon Lords was finalize the kill on that Gold Fury, as we now have them jumping around. Got a lot of damage coming out, as Loki is now looking at this Chang'e, but the Chang'e is able to get out of it. King Arthur is going to ult onto that, going to try and back him off of that fight from the low HP Thanatos, but he is taking some damage of his own, as Ganesh is now looking low HP as well, as Golem is going to be transforming right there. They're just going to opt to back off of that one, as the Archon Lords will take their victory at the Gold Fury and retreat.
yeah, and as a consolation prize, they'll take themselves a red buff. I'm sure that the Archon Lords will understand.
I'm sure they will. Though they won't be taking it just yet, as we do have a pause.
And it's Skyla in the chat. Media Man posted you a link to the Discord. Hope you find that. And welcome to QSL.
Welcome to our family.
Where most of us like each other.
Most of us, at least.
Yeah, we don't like Nep, right?
He's too busy with his wieners to be interested in us.
Yeah, got a lot of very busy, very busy. Oh man, so let's take a look at builds. How about that?
Looking at builds,
I
we
really
see
like that.
a
I
lot of
like this.
similarities.
I like this. Death's Toll, Rod of Tahuti, Power Boots, Magus. If that's not a power build, I don't know what is.
That is a lot of power from Soul. Unfortunately for her, it is a very expensive build though.
Yeah, it
And
is.
Chiron already does get a little bit of early pressure, but when your build is that expensive, you don't quite hit those power spikes as early, and Chiron is going to be able to press the advantage of his Transcendence a little bit earlier. And it has been paying off for him, as the Soul is now 0, 2, and 1.
Yeah.
The late game potential is absolutely massive on this Soul. But the question is, will the early game aggression and power from the Archon Lords be enough to shut them out of that late game power spike? Or will the patience of the Knights be enough to lead them to victory in this one?
I don't know. But also, interestingly enough, no Gauntlet of Thebes coming out of the Ganesh. Interested in that. Looks like he's going into maybe a Magi's. I mean, Magi's third item is never bad, but I wouldn't think that he'd probably need it, or maybe going into
It certainly isn't a bad item pickup, and I don't think it's wrong by any means. I just don't expect to see it that early. With it only being 15 each on the protections, it's almost purely used for its passive of giving you that CC immunity. Whereas I would expect something like Spirit Robe to end up being picked up because that's 40 of both protections as well as 10% cooldown reduction and 20% crowd control reduction, but it gives you additional damage mitigation when you're hit with hard crowd control.
Yeah, but how many times is he gonna end up getting hit with hard crowd control as opposed to against other team comps?
In this one, it's still very, very possible. Arthur has multiple with the cripple on his one. He has the knock up from his two. He has his ultimate. We see a silence and the ultimate on Thanatos. As I'm actually going to pause on this conversation to talk about the team fight going on, as we see a lot of low health bars. Loki is now extremely low HP. He's going to be forced to back off, as Thanatos is taking a lot of damage. So they're going to have to try and peel for him.
Yeah, the Ganesh did very well to get that silence onto the Thanatos to probably avoid that scythe that was
Oh yeah,
incoming to the dome.
it was charging up.
It was very good looking out from the support.
Very, very good play there with that silence coming in just in the nick of time. Could call him ulting to try and save his blue buff, but not enough. Thanatos just healing a quarter of his HP off of that one scythe. We see through space and time come out as well. Didn't quite land on Thanatos in this case, but Thanatos did still back off in the end. Chiron be dashing into that soul and just getting that massive shot off, doing a lot of damage.
Man, Chiron does so much damage.
But moving back to the Spirit Robe, and we do actually see the Spirit Robe. There it is. Chang'e does have one with the ult, though I don't expect we'll see that too often, proccing it. Yamoja has a couple options. The stun off of her 1, the knock-up from her 3 is also a good option, whereas Chiron does still have that pluck from his giddy up. All of which are possibilities to activate that, and that is a lot of damage mitigation, as Cuchulainn will be burned out by the Thanatos and King Arthur.
He was a sacrifice for that pyromancer. His job was just to hold him off of the pyromancer until they secured it. And he did exactly that. Good job to him.
I mean, they certainly secured the Pyromancer, so hey, if it works, it works, you know? I don't think you can complain about that in any capacity.
Yep. And Chang'e ult comes out to get a good stun onto good stun onto the soul and the Ganesh to make sure that she's not getting collapsed on.
Well, speaking of getting collapsed on, this Ganesh is now in the middle of 3 people. As Reverse Riku be coming out to shut him in. Thanatos will end up picking off that go, as Loki will end up picking off the Chiron. A little bit out of that fight. But now we see Loki ulting in to try and stun them. Thanatos is going to have to pop beats, but he still ends up taking too much damage from the Loki 3 and will end up falling to the Loki. That's a big shutdown for him, as we now see Cuchulainn jumping into this fight. Yamoja is trying to keep Loki from backing by dropping the portal, but the Cuchulainn ult will actually ult on top of the King Arthur and Yamoja, just knocking them into the air and forcing them right back in there. Soul will end up popping out. Giannis' portal will actually be bringing out a lot of damage onto that Yamoja. She's taking a lot of damage. She's going to be forced to back off here. As Soul does have a little bit of healing on her, she's able to keep going into this fight. As we now see King Arthur diving 1v4 now. He's just going to be having to dash out of that one. Where he takes a lot of damage. Giannis coming through to deal a lot more damage, but the Chang'e will actually end up picking off the Loki.
Yeah, she got a
It's a
huge,
huge ult.
yeah, she got a huge ult and
Talking about huge ults, there's Cuchulainn diving into the backline. He doesn't care about that tower damage.
oh
He is
man.
pushing. But unfortunately, Chang'e picks him off just in the nick of time.
Yeah, he wanted that so bad.
He did. And he was so very close to getting it too.
I could so relate to that. I could so relate to that. It's like, she is 1 HP! And you just are so close, but yet so far. And that's gonna extend their
it's-
lead to almost 3 and actually just over 3.5K.
3.5k gold, 3.4k XP. the Archon Lords are getting a lot of benefit from their pressure early on. And they're actually going to be looking at this Primal Fury. Ganesh is right there. Giannis not too far away at all. Through space and time, and Dharmic Pose coming out to try and secure that Gold Fury, but it won't be enough. The Archon Lords will still end up getting.
Yeah, that if that Yancel was just about a half a second later, man, it was gonna be so close.
Very, very close to stealing that objective.
I expect at the 23-minute marker, after the next team fight, if there's more than one pick, they're going straight to fire.
Oh, I would not be surprised at all.
And who do you think has the better objective play at this point of the game?
As of right now, I do love having the Loki and the Soul being able to burn through the objective's health with Giannis able to secure with that ult, even from a distance across the map. But right now, the Archon Lords have really, really strong team fight. I think in the end, they actually have a little bit more of that secure, especially with the River's Rebuke being able to shut everybody out. They can't even get close to the objective. It gives them all the time they need to finish it off. So I think I'm going to have to go to the Archon Lords for this one.
I think you might be right. I think you might be right.
Off face value, the late game damage that Soul can provide is going to be a little bit stronger than Chiron, but the lead that they've gotten in the insane teamfight value that the Lords are getting out here, it's so strong. The Knights, they're playing it very well and they're doing great jobs, but they can't quite keep up with the lead that the Lords have, and their strong team fights are not helping that for the Knights at all. They're still taking a little bit more of a lead.
Yeah. Okay, we have a 2-level lead in jungle, 1 in solo, 1 in mid, 2 in support, and we're about even in the carry. And the Soul 2 doing absolutely no damage. Unfortunate.
Especially as it's clipping multiple people, Spear the Magus does get a little bit wonky when you're hitting multiple people. As we see Arthur blinking in to try and catch out this Loki in the backline. He takes a massive amount of damage. The Shell's going to try and come out and save him, but Hovering Death doesn't quite connect, just shy of hitting him off. As we see a couple blinks coming out, King Arthur is going to be ulting onto that Ganesha. So Ganesha is now in the backline. River's Reek shutting him and Colin in, as Colin and Ganesha will be ulting. Soul will also be coming out as Giannis ult just space time will end up picking off through Blazing Raven. Blazing Raven got bursted through that ult, and Giannis is just going to be portaling out to escape from all that damage. Colin not quite done with this fight yet. He's going to be looking for a little bit more as he sends himself to regroup with his team, as they're now regrouping as a whole lobby to re-engage this fight.
Huge pick. It's 5v4. I'm surprised they're not pushing the matter at this point.
It is a little bit surprising, but they do just want to take what they've gotten out of it, as we see Arthur popping bees there. Or Arthur, excuse me, Chunga. But Loki will end up coming to finalize that kill, but Charon will be responding with a kill of his own onto Loki. Not quite able to survive that dive. As we will see the aggression continue onto the King Arthur, who's now very low, popping his charged ult to try and get away. Colin not done with it yet. He's jumping in for that kill as well. But Yamoja is very, very low, as they're now going to be turning to chase that Yamoja under tower, just trying to finalize that kill. King Arthur looking to try and distract them and get them off of her. And it will be successful. Yamoja does live through that fight, as we see Thanatos coming in for an ult. He will end up securing the kill onto G-Snow on that Ganesha, as he's now doing a lot more damage, but taking a lot of his own. As Chiron and King Arthur are going to be shredding through Saul's HP. My goodness, he was just full HP half a second ago. Through space and time, going to be coming out trying to catch some people, but not quite on the mark in this one. Thanatos Scythe looking to catch somebody, but not quite there. That was a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I'll fix it.
If you thought the Thanatos is hard to kill right now, wait till he gets that mantle of Discord online.
Especially with the Protector of the Jungle up, he's got Transcendence, Hydra's Lament, and Arendite. That's all he really needs.
Man.
That,
Oh,
that right there
there's a
was
huge
massive amount of damage.
there's a huge numbers advantage at the fire giant. They need to push this fight. There's
Yes,
two
King
of
Arthur and
them.
Chiron are the only ones in the Fire Giant pit, as the entire team for the Knights is there.
Yep.
Chang'e,
They
Thanatos,
gotta fight
and
them. They're waiting
Moja
so
are
long.
going to be actually opting for the Gold Fury, since they know they won't be able to get there in time to pressure the Fire Giant. So King Arthur is actually just going to continue distracting them while Chiron is going to rotate to secure that gold,
Yep.
ensuring that they get it. The Knights realizing where they are, they're going to go ahead and start up that Fire Giant really quickly, and they are burning through it, doing a lot of damage. As now the entire Archon Lord's team is coming to help this King Arthur in his valiant defense. The Knights will end up securing that Fire Giant, as we see Dharmic Pillars coming out, Soul and Yamoja will be coming out. King Arthur will end up falling to the Soul, as now Kukulkan drops his beads, but we see Thanatos up in the air looking for a kill. He will end up killing that Ganesha, as we see Kukulkan about half HP running into that Thanatos, and Thanatos obliterating him with the scythe. Will end up picking up that double kill, as we now have 4 full HP bars on the Archon Lords and only 3 on the Knights. They did secure the Fire Giant, but they lost 2 to 1 kills in the process, whereas the Archon Lords still got that Primal Fury.
Man, this Thanatos, I freaking tell you, if it was any other jungler, I feel like this game would be different.
The ultimates are putting in amazing amounts of work.
The amount of engage that he's got going on is absolutely nuts.
It is insane. The pressure that they're able to get out of it too, just being able to go over those walls and just cut somebody out of the fight entirely, send them straight back to Fountain. It's an incredibly valuable tool.
Yep. And here's your guys old reference of the day. He's just gonna Leroy Jenkins. Right on it into that fight.
That's an old. That's an old one. Wow.
My Blazing Raven going Leroy Jenkins.
Oh man, I have not heard that in a while. Wow. I'm surprised people still remember that.
That was friggin' hilarious. Oh, he's doing it again.
Oh, here we go, Doug. We got 4 people there. We see Loki. We see all of the ults being popped here. Everybody is just dropping them. Chiron will end up securing the kill on the Loki, as Ganesh is falling really quickly. His HP will end up being dropped by the Chiron again, and Chiron will end up with a double kill, as Thanatos is now very low HP. He's going to have to be very careful with his next fight here. He's going to opt to back out of that fight, as now Yamoja and friends are going to be chasing down the Knights as they're retreating to the safety of their T2 tower. That's now 2 people left on the Knights with the Fire Giant buff active.
Just with one unstable vortex, it's a half health Yana, or it's a half health Junga.
And there's the Kukulkan as well. He blinks in, dishing out a massive amount of damage, putting up all the rage, but he's going to take a lot of damage in return. He's going to have to get out of that one. He will end up popping beads to survive too. Very, very important pick for the Lords here.
There we go. So
Thanatos just doing Thanatos things and shredding through the tower. The natural pen on this too is so good late game.
So okay. Here's something I need to explain to me. I'm not a mid laner. I like to play mid, but I'm not a mid laner. But okay, so you got Pendulum of the Ages.
Yes.
It's basically the tier 1 item, which is okay. This item grants you 10 magical power per 10% of your available mana. So is this assuming that you want to build mana items if you're going to go into Pendulum of the Aegis?
You certainly can. It's not a necessary requirement though. Mostly I end up seeing people get that because Sands of Time is a very solid starting item level 1, getting you a lot of mana sustain with the MP5, and the early 10% cooldown is very important as well.
Gotcha.
And Pendulum of the Ages it gives you a lot of power walking into a team fight, which in this stage of the game rarely diminishes too much, since you do still have quite a bit of your mana left over after the first couple trades, which is usually the most important ones.
Yeah. I just really like alternative timeline. I just think it's so good. That's personally me. You can't tell me too much different. Although I gotta say, having 20% cooldown and 90 power with 20 MP5 is nothing to shake a stick
It is
at.
a good feeling.
It's
It is a
pretty
good
good.
feeling.
It's pretty good.
I'm not saying alternate timeline is bad. I just don't like the massive cooldown it has. It feels clunky, if that makes sense to me.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm just one of very few out there who doesn't like alternate timeline, but it is certainly a good meme. It's always fun to just revive back once people thought they got you.
Mm-hmm. Definitely fair. Dantos wants to do it.
He does want. I can already see the wheels turning. He wants to click the 4. He's waiting for it.
Okay.
Giannis is throwing out Unstable Vortex, just trying to pick people out, as Archon Loads will actually end up starting on
He's
this
at
fire giant.
60%. At 50.
They are doing quite a bit of damage to this EFG. Loki is in the backline, so they are going to have to be careful about that. They're will end up ulting to try and get him off of it. There's a Rebuke will come out and try and shut them out of it. The Knights will end up healing the Fire Giant. That is a huge pickup for them, as Kukulno in the backline is going to be dishing out a massive amount of damage on the Chiron. He's falling very, very quickly. He's going to be very low. Thanatos in the backline wreaking havoc on that Loki, chasing him down with 3 people on him now, including the Giannis. It's taking a lot of damage though, so will end up picking off that kill. Not quite able to take that fight.
There's a really good Mantle of Discord prac to get that double stun, but not going to be enough to for him to be able to put out that damage.
But I must say, the fact that he had 2 people, both Sol and Giannis, chasing him that far into the backline is an absolutely massive gain for the Lords. That very well could have turned into a whole team wipe.
It's true. Yeah. I'll buy that.
He certainly would have secured the kill onto the Loki, but Giannis and Sol being able to dish out more damage onto those already low HP bars, that could have very well turned into a 1-for-4 trade, with the Knights also picking up the Fire Giant.
Yeah. With that steal, that's the second Fire Giant steal from the Knights.
It is. They're doing very well with the Fire Giant.
I think I think it's the Soul ult that's just absolutely melting it.
Sol in general can melt the Fire Giant. We'll actually see the Knights opting to take out the duo side tier 2 tower. Are they going to continue the Phoenix Siege? Nope. It looks like they're going to go ahead and go for that mid T2 tower that's already below half HP. Perfectly fine, since Titan can be quite difficult to kill when you have a lot of towers up. So taking out these towers one by one is still a solid use of the Fire Giant buff.
Oh yeah, absolutely great. Like at some point, you want those towers down anyway. So go ahead and take them. You're probably still gonna have enough time to take a Phoenix at the end of it. Especially if they move quick enough.
And they are certainly moving quickly, wasting absolutely no time of that precious timer.
Oh,
EFG is a very big buff to get.
Oh, that is EFG. Nice. Nice. I like it.
The portal is always a fun ability to use. So see Ganesha ult coming out, Kokon will blink and ult into that on the backline as well. Giannis will end up picking off the kill on to the carry. Karon falling pretty early into this fight. Loki ult will end up coming out as we see a low HP on. Actually, they will end up turning that around, and the jungle will end up picking off the kill onto the Loki instead, as we see a big fight diving into this backline now, as we'll be throwing out a lot of damage from the Unstable Vertex and the Giannis, as they will be taking a lot of amount of damage. Blazing Raven taking massive damage. He will end up falling to the Kokolin. He couldn't quite dive the backline this time. There was no Loki for him to bully. He ended up falling to the Kokolin in this fight.
Yeah, on that first bit, Phoenix Umoja did a really good job of using that ult to block off the Knights from hitting it, but with the EFG,
unfortunately, it isn't available this time as they're now diving. They already took out the mid Phoenixes. Giannis will end up taking out another kill, and we see King Arthur a little bit lonely as we see another Ganesh ult. The Dharmic Pillar is locking him in as he's going to take a lot of damage and being forced to back out of that one. As we see Umoja also very low HP, only the 2 tanks left to try and defend this Titan. It's already taken a lot of damage, and so are they. But now Chiron is back up. Soul will end up finalizing the kill onto the King Arthur. Soul is going to try and get out. Chiron dishing out a lot of damage onto her, forcing her to get out of that fight really early. He will end up picking off the kill on the Soul with that ultimate. Beautiful snipe.
Yeah, total worth though. 3 towers and 2 phoenixes off the EFG pole.
That was actually 4.
Oh,
4 towers.
Oh, you're right. It was 4, wasn't it?
Yeah. The solo side still had both towers up. They were still able to shred through both and 2 phoenixes.
Yeah, and they're gonna wait.
And they traded 2 for 4 kills as well.
Yeah.
Beautiful offense coming out from the Knights.
All because of the Fire Giant steal too. They've been behind all game.
The Archon Lords did have a little bit of lead on them for quite a bit, but now the Knights are hitting that late game stage where their power spike gets massive, whereas the early game pressure from the Archon Lords is falling off a little bit. Thanatos and Chiron not doing what they used to be able to do, or at least not nearly as easy.
I don't think it's that. I think it's more just the Archon Lords just got outplayed. Because the Thanatos is third on top player damage, so we can't really blame it on Thanatos falling off or anything. Just oh wow, they're on it.
They're already on that EFG, but they only have 2 people here. Loki is just dishing out massive amounts of damage out. He has more than enough to do it. Thanatos ult is coming out as we see Umoja ult coming out to get them off of it. That will be a wasted Thanatos ult, unfortunately. Very big pickup for the Knights though. That Thanatos ult is very, very dangerous, especially from the backline. He can 2-tap the backline very easily, as they'll end up dropping a little bit of damage on the Umoja, who's then forced to run away.
And they're gonna go right back to the FG, and they're gonna look to burn this really quick.
They can certainly afford to though. They have a lot of pressure with those fire minions pushing up. But Umoja's not willing to give it up, as Loki ult will end up coming out onto that Thanatos, who will end up dying to the tick damage that comes out. Very unfortunate as Umoja is now caught in the middle of all 5 of them. Portal getting stopped. Soul will end up finalizing the kill onto the Umoja, as we now have a 5v3 with an EFG on the Knights. This could be it.
Yeah, it is not.
Will the Knights find the pressure to end this game that they were behind in the early stages, as now the late game power spike that they pull off? They've certainly figured out their team dynamic, and they are pressuring it very hard. Archon Lords are having some trouble picking up, as we end up seeing a blink coming in from the colonists. Ganesh will ult onto them. They're dishing out so much damage, the Titan just practically melted in place like butter.
Yeah, absolutely. A turnaround victory for the Knights for game 1, and just absolutely brought it back with two Fire Giant steals, one of them being EFG, and they take another EFG on their own, and they walk it right on down, and that's how you do it.
That was a beautiful turnaround from the Knights. They played phenomenally. They're having a little bit of trouble in that early game. The pressure, especially in the mid game a little bit. That Thanatos was just destroying everything in his path. The ultimates were downright oppressive for the backline. They
Yeah,
couldn't engage on anything without dying almost instantly, especially for this Loki.
yeah. Even though like the Knights turned around and got a victory, I would still give game MVP to Blazing Raven, who just absolutely put this team on his back and said, "Hey, I'm gonna get us here. Let's go." And he set his team up to basically take this game away, and just unfortunately, just they couldn't do anything with it.
They still did a lot though, without question. But unfortunately, it just wasn't quite enough for them to ride it all the way to the end of the game. The Knights had that comeback potential, and they made it a reality.
Yep. And
But
get
I can certainly agree with Game 1 MVP going to Raven. He played absolutely beautiful. The damage and shutdowns he was able to get with those ults, it was oppressive. I can't think of any other words for it. He forced the backline out of every single fight. They could not engage without being at risk of just dying.
mm-hmm. Yeah. I am missing. Is Crude's QWERTY? Are they the same person?
Is who?
Is Crude's the same person as QWERTY? I just need to know
I
that.
believe so.
Okay, just making sure because the name didn't match. Didn't match, and that was just kind of bugging me. Okay, guys, we're gonna take our short break, and we'll be right back with you for game 2.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified, thinking I could never live without you by my side. I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. I grew strong, I learned how to get along, and so you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed my stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key. If I'd have known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Go on now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to break me with your bite? You think I'd crumble? You think I'd lay down and die? Oh no, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I stay alive. I got all my life to live. I got all my love to give. I will survive. I will survive. Hey, hey.
All right, Mark. Okay, okay.
Okay. Boom. Okay. Voices
He is actually
live. Voices live.
he is actually playing BTD6. That's
Oh,
actually funny.
okay. Take it away, Lamp.
Okay. Well, we just got a message from our boy Glacium Vulpes saying that Archon Lords are switching, so Blazing Raven is going to be mid and Cyber is going to be in the jungle.
Very well. Good to know. And they did switch sides.
Which means we'll now see the knights on the order side. The Archon Lords will be featured on the other side of the screen on the Chaos. We'll be going right into picks and bans here. So we see the King's Court organization. Knights will end up banning Persephone, followed by the Archlords banning Tiamat. The Knights will ban Athena. Archlords will ban Set. Another four very, very strong gods.
Oh, there it is. The respect Loki ban. Love it. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here. um, I've actually no. I'm actually being dead serious. Dead serious when I tell about this. Me and my team have been just we've been banning Loki lately, like because we were just like I don't want to see that ever again. Because and it was I think it was Lil Noms brought Loki against us, and we just got our butts ran with the Loki. With a Loki, and it was just like, this is freaking awful. Like, please get me out of here.
I'd be okay if we just permaban Loki from the game. Just never see a Loki again. You know, I'm not complaining. I won't say anything.
No Loki? Oh, okay. And number one overall, Sun Wukong.
Sun Wukong. That's not a god I normally see in the number one overall choice, especially since we see gods like Persephone and the Yana still being open.
Oh, you're right.
I'm surprised to see the Sun Wukong being picked first. Sun Wukong is still definitely a great solo laner, and he's very safe. He has a lot of utility as well. I'm just interested that he's the first one we see being picked here.
But Mr. Krabs, he was number one.
The moon will purify this land.
Oh man, you are just full of the references today.
I know.
Oh, and speaking of, we see Tsukiyomi and Giannis are ended up being locked in by the Archlords here.
I'm definitely liking this Ganesh pick. I think there's a lot of people who don't like Ganesh, and
I
and
will
I
be standing
and we
no
need all
barrier
these
to
Ganesh
our
haters to
success.
leave. He is an
Yeah,
amazing
where's Matt when
support.
you need him? Where's Matt when you need him? We see Ganesha here. Matt, where you at? And speaking of solid picks, we see Chiron.
Yep. NMR loves Ganesh so much that he made me play Ganesh almost every single game in season 1. Literally only played 3 gods: Yamoja, Ganesh, and Geb. And
Still very strong picks.
and Geb or Ganesh was literally 80% of the games. Oh, and a Kabrakan
Still a
ban.
strong god. But speaking of strong gods, we see Denzaburo picked up here. It's been a little bit since I last saw a Denzaburo, especially since the Soul is still available. Speaking of Soul, Soul actually just got banned. We see the Kabrakan ban coming out. The Knights pulling a book straight out of the Phenoms playbook here.
There it is.
So the Phenoms ban Kabrakan both of their games in their set.
Yeah.
Guess they know something that we don't.
I'm
They're just higher level beings than us.
yeah.
They know.
I feel like you just got to get Kabrakan through the first 10 minutes of the game and you're just Gucci.
Once he hits like him, the damage he puts out is so much.
It was prospects going on. I was a Nike versus a Kabrakan, and I gotta tell you, I got to lane, and all of a sudden Bob's kit gave me a 1-2 combo, and I was like, what in the world is this? Why is he hitting so hard?
That's Kabrakan for you. If I'm playing anybody in arena when I'm playing it, that's probably who I'm gonna go because you just get Polly, you get Rod, and then you pick up Rondas and you just obliterate everyone.
Listen
Although
to
actually
my
going into
words.
the next set of pickups, we see Hera being locked in here. Maybe that's why Hera was banned last time.
You gotta have a bit of a bait
Arcloids,
going on. It's a
Arcloids
bait.
do spawn with King Arthur. We see Hunbats picked up by the Knights. We see Morgan Le Fay being covered by Arcloids.
Exactly, Morgan Le Fay being hovered.
Imagine.
and and they're gonna turn it right into the emoja. I would not put it past Beaten Crayons to pick Morgan Le Fay support. Just saying. Like I'm
You
calling
know,
it.
I really can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I really can't disagree with it.
But we have skipped over something that's really important that I have to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Zombie Crusher going Hera? Huh?
This
I like it. I like it. Big chunky Argus coming out.
perhaps this is why we saw a Hera ban in the previous game.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, this is why
This
we had
was the
had the hair
strat.
band. It's like they knew something that we didn't.
They had information that we didn't have.
I'm gonna need the knights to forward that intel straight to my inbox, or we make it, or we might get this information firsthand in game 2. Let's find out.
Here, can you do me a favor real quick?
What's up?
Can you slide me a little Discord stream here?
Oh, I thought I was giving it to you.
You were, but it shut off when you reset the client.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, you're right. It would do that, wouldn't it?
Good old Discord.
Okay. And let's get these.
Okay, there we go. Now we see things starting to load in. Okay. For a second, it looked like the build was showing that the Hunbats had gotten Sentinels gift. I was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I was confused for a second. Okay, well, Smite has trolled me once again. But we do see that Sentinel's gift being picked up once more. I mean, it certainly worked last game.
Cousin Eddie, my bad. I'll try to keep a lookout for that next time.
Minions have spawned.
I'm interested to see how this one is going to end up turning out. Because in the duel lane, we have Yamoja and Denzaburo up against Chiron and Ganesh.
That panda cat I see over there? I am very interested to see this Hera do some things. So we're gonna get going to the middle lane here at the start. I want to see this. Okay.
Still doing decent clear, hitting level 2 just a little bit before the Giannis.
Yeah, nothing
So far, Heretic not looking too shabby.
They're still level 1 here in duo lane. This is not looking good.
That is very unfortunate. Both Yamoja and Denzaburo hit level 2. This is very bad, especially for Chiron. He thrives in that early pressure. But when Denzaburo's getting it instead of him, he's gonna find himself in an unfortunate spot to be in.
And it looks like first totem is gonna go the way of the Archon Lords if they had, and the Honkler has it his way.
That's Subway. We do see a lot of damage on the Arthur coming from Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong getting Warrior's Axe again, rather than opting for the Bluestone.
It must be for the tankiness he wants.
Center Next is still a very solid item, as we see Arthur dishing out a lot of damage onto the Sun Wukong and will actually pick up the first blood in this game.
Win to win, baby.
Started out with a lot of early pressure on that Arthur, but Arthur turned that around.
Those good beats.
Weirdly enough, though, it still takes a lot of damage. Giannis will end up finalizing that kill onto the Hera.
Unfortunate misdash from both Ganesh and Chiron. But
I don't think this one's done yet. Denzaburo is coming in for more.
I didn't even know he was there.
Chiron out.
I didn't even know Danza was there either.
I saw the leaf following him. I'm like, wait a minute, is that him? He's the one that them following. He did not disappoint.
One thing that, like, I would even like to argue that maybe Danza is a better Bluestone abuser than Chiron.
I think Chiron can get a little bit more Bluestone efficiency out of his 1 and 2 combo, just because it procs faster than Denzaburo's kit does.
Fair enough. I'll buy it. But interesting enough, he's decided to go the Death's Toll route this game instead of the Bluestone.
That is very interesting. You normally see Chiron thriving off the pressure that Bluestone will give you. I was thinking to see Sukiyomi coming out onto this Hera in the mid lane once again.
And through space and time will come along with it.
Well, we pick up kill for Sukiyomi in this one. Unfortunately, Yasuo didn't quite connect on that one because already dead. That was a huge dense world, actually picking off the Ganesh, doing a massive amount of damage. As we see Arthur once again bullying this Sun Wukong back under his tower, as we see Sukiyomi diving in for more. Oh, wow. That was a clean pickup. As we see Hunbats blink in, pick up that ult, will end up finishing the kill onto the Tsukiyomi, who took a lot of damage from the tower. As we now see Giannis teleporting in onto the Sunbat. Arthur ult actually picking up the kill. Wow.
Okay. I tried to toggle for the Hunbat's view, and it just wouldn't get there. Oh, that's a lot of damage, but it's not gonna be enough.
Arthur is too tanky now for that to work.
Yeah, he's already got this 2-level lead, and it's not looking good. But I have faith in Achilles. He's gonna bring it back.
He certainly has a skill to do it too.
Yeah.
Though he does certainly have a very solid opponent. The Honkler is by no means a bad solo laner. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah. Oh. Yanis was. I thought the Yanis was gonna send an unstable vortex through there, and Yamoja being a bit of a jerk and decided to throw that throw that stun over the wall for harassment.
You can only back when I say you're allowed to back. See the Arthur ult coming out onto this Sun Wukong, who's now about half HP.
Yeah, it is just a slugfest right now in the solo lane, and King Arthur is almost at the point where he is unkillable. He is waiting for that Stone of Gaia to come, and then it is going to be unkillable time. That is so much damage.
He has insane amounts of damage on the Sun Wukong. He can't even fight him under wave anymore.
And maybe someone from should have gone with the tank boots.
It's possible that may have been able to lend the difference.
Good damage.
Hera does have some really solid poke in that mid lane. As Arthur will actually end up forcing Sun Wukong's ult to be popped here.
Oh, they're baiting him. He's baiting him. He's baiting him.
Maybe some very good baseball. Blink ult will come out. Arthur can't get out, but he does manage to pull off the ult. It's not in time,
He got
though.
baited hard.
He did.
Like
Beautiful play from Sun Wukong, though.
Achilles just stood in front of him, and said, "Come get me, man," and just trusted his jungler, and that was a good way to get a nice kill out of the King Arthur. And his beads.
As we see Tsukiyomi ult coming out on top of that Ganesh ult, diving in on that Hera, taking a massive amount of damage. She's not going to survive the onslaught from the Tsukiyomi. Tsukiyomi will end up picking off that kill. Cyber on the Giannis did end up falling as well, so it does turn out to be a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah.
Those words are awfully close to each other.
It's Tsukiyomi's gonna be kind of big.
Does have that transcendence on now.
Oh, hands up! Oh my God, I'm an idiot. Oh.
We do see a lot of damage coming out in front of this Umoja. Umoja's gonna have to get out of that real quick.
Yeah. Okay. Man, I screwed up that camera for a bit. Oh, okay.
Well, fortunately we didn't miss anything too huge.
Yeah. So, before this match gets too much further, what are your predictions?
My predictions for this game. Looking at the team drafts, I'm looking at each individual lane, but we also have to look at the combined team fight potential, which is incredibly strong for the Knights, given that they have both Ganesh and the Hunbats. Chiron is also a decent pick to try and force them away from standing on his 2, which they take a lot of damage from that as well. Hera is just a menace in the mid game. She can dish out a massive amount of damage to the Umoja ult that's actually going to come out to try and drop them, as Giannis will end up falling. Hunbats will end up picking up a kill of his own, but will end up falling. Or his teammates, excuse me, will fall, as Hera is unable to survive that fight any longer. We do see a very low HP Hunbats and Sun Wukong, and we actually have the Monkey duo. They went Team Monkey.
Oh, that's aggressive. That's
very
aggressive.
aggressive.
Only hits one of them.
Still has about half his HP bar left. Will it be enough to get him out of there?
Yeah, they're
He
not.
is able to sneak away.
Oh, and that's
Innsbruck ult came out.
he thought. I think he was thinking that Chiron was gonna maybe come back to mid lane, and just decided not to.
Either way, very unfortunate for Bramble in this case.
Oh.
It was a very hopeful ultimate, and I like the enthusiasm that he had.
Definitely some good enthusiasm. Oh, he's right there.
Always a lucky card up my sleeve.
There comes the Chad Argus. Ganesh ult is going to be dropped as well. That's a lot of damage, and it will end up being secured by the Hunbats. That's exactly what I'm expecting to happen during some of these team fights. The Archon Lords do have a very aggressive and powerful dive on them, but the re-engage from the Knights is very, very strong.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if they use their team fights mid-game really well, they should be able to get a really good sweep of this. Because the Hunbat's all being dropped on the Tsukiyomi, he's going to have to ult to try and get out of it, but Hunbat's will end up securing that kill. Umoja's ult is going to be locking them in, but it's not out of the woods just yet, taking a little bit of poke before from Chiron, before entering the T2 tower.
Yeah, with that pick and a half, they're gonna be able to get this gold fury. They don't have to worry too much about Umoja, but there is a Giannis right there that is ready.
Your space time did already come out though, it was a little bit early and off the mark, so the Knights will end up picking that gold fury for themselves.
Hey. And this brings us closer back to an even ball game.
It certainly has been very well even, as we see Arthur ult coming out under the very low HP with the Sun Wukong. That was beautiful. Very, very close though.
Why? Okay. I was wondering why the camera just stayed over there. I thought it was going to switch
Just...
up. It's like you know what? You get to look at the solo lane just a little bit longer.
Just had a brief moment of silence for our fallen Achilles there.
Oh no. I need to refrain from saying anything. Achilles is my buddy. He's my buddy. As I said earlier, I believe in him. It's a really good engage.
He does have the skill to pull it off.
Yes. He's only one level down. It's not looking
And it
too
is
bad
up
for him.
against the King Arthur.
Yeah.
Hera is actually doing quite well for herself too. King Arthur though, blinking in to secure the kill on the Hera. A little bit on the rude side, but Tsukiyomi and Umoja all coming out to shut down this Ganesh will end up falling to the dense burrow in between the towers.
Hey, like that was a little aggressive.
But you did not answer your own question earlier, sir.
Which one?
Oh, whoa, Dense Burrow is blasting on that Chiron.
Oh, Chiron's
and he's just
blocked.
gonna ult.
Oh,
He can't get out.
no.
Oh no.
What question were you talking about, though?
What are your predictions for this game?
I was mostly just setting you up. Let's see. I like the Archon Lord's draft a little better, but with a good Chiron and Ganesh ult combo, it becomes absolutely nuts to deal with. They're gonna have to provide so much peel for this Hera because of the amount of dive that they have. With that, both the Ganesh.
There's the Ganesh and the Hunbats all coming out, and
Yeah.
Hera will end up finalizing that kill on the Blazing Raven. Took a lot of damage there. And that's exactly the kind of team fight that I was looking at that they're going to end up pulling off. They're using it quite well.
Yeah,
As you see the Arthur ult coming out, will end up forcing the bees on the Sun Wukong. He will end up ulting as well. As we see the continued dive, Hunbats will end up diving under tower and finalizing the kill on a real Cyber. Now, Hunbats is very, very low. He's going to have to get out of there. As Denzaburo is now looking for the kill. Will end up finalizing it with the bottle of sake. As we now see a couple of relatively low HP bars under this T2 tower. Honkler and Crayons are a little bit low, so we'll have to be careful. But Simon Crusher are also getting a little bit low. The Emolja ult will end up coming out to try and lock them in, but Ganesh is able to dash out of that one. But we do see Achilles over there, a little bit on his own by the Pyro. We'll end up seeing the rotation come out. Joe Spartacus taking a lot of damage from that Denzaburo as well. We'll end up falling to the Denzaburo too. King Arthur looking very low though. He's going to have to be careful about this one, and Umoja will lend him a hand to escape from that fight. Denzaburo taking a massive amount of damage as we see Argus dropping out. The beats is not enough to get him out of that situation. Hera will end up picking off that kill onto the Denzaburo as we now see them chasing down, trying to find one more kill in the area. But unfortunately, they're not too close, so they're instead going to opt to start pulling the Pyromancer, as the entire team is now looking onto this fight.
Yeah, to finish that fight off, the King Arthur did have to blink out to further disengage from the Sun Wukong. So that is one less relic that he's going to have for the next fight.
True. It is a big thing to pull Blink early.
He does not have the damage.
At least not on his own. He doesn't have the HP to survive that any longer.
And the
But I will
Knights-
pick up where they left off.
And the
I
Knights
just
say
see through space
thank
and
you.
time.
The Knights say thank you for getting that debt down to 2/3 HP for us. We'll take it from here.
We did see through space and time come out though.
Mm-hmm. You want a hot take?
What's that?
I don't think Giannis is that good of a team player. I mean, as in the god. No, I'm not talking about Cyber. But-
Wow, just roasting Cyber like
Oh
that?
my god, I did not do that to Cyber.
No, Cyber's a good guy.
Yeah, like I just don't think Giannis is that good of a team fight god. I think he's really good at running away.
He has good utility, and he has the great potential to pull it off. Actually, Hunbat's all baiting out the beads and ult.
Did he
from the
not
Tsukiyomi.
hit? He didn't hit Hunbats one time with that?
Evidently not.
So that
Hunbats
is
was able to
beads
keep it
and
unscathed
ult from Suki.
for just the price of one ultimate.
That's a good deal.
That's very affordable.
Can you say worst history, worst trade deal in the history of trade deals?
But no, I must agree. I don't like Giannis the God as much as other gods. We will see Ganesh all coming out on this backline as we see Argus already dropped on them. We see Denzaburo, excuse me, and Tsukiyomi getting rather low. And the Denzaburo will actually end up falling to the Hunbats as through space and time will clip through the hair, and Achilles on that Sun Wukong will be very low. He's going to have to back out. Tsukiyomi is going to be getting dived, excuse me, by the Hunbats. Very low HP. He's going to have to pop Aegis just to survive. But the Hunbats will end up getting caught out by the Arthur as he ends up falling. And now Ganesh is going to continue the fight as Hera is going to have to be a little bit more careful with this fight as she's already a little bit low HP, as we do see Chiron getting very, very low and will end up getting picked out by the Umoja as we now see Arthur diving on this poor Ganesh who isn't able to, and he will switch targets for that Hera as she's already much lower HP and much easier to kill. The shield will come out, but will it be enough to get him out? As Emoja is also there to help in this fight. We do see a third. It's now a 3-on-2 in this backline as Arthur is just going to end up popping the ult onto the Sun Wukong. A little bit more damage, and we see very low HP. Wow, Sun Wukong went down really quickly. King Arthur is going to have to be careful and back up here, as Hera does have some damage of her own.
I'm a little surprised that she didn't go the Charon's coin, because what if I thought that you would think that the movement speed would be really good on Hera, for obvious reasons, of course.
Archon Woods will secure that Gold Fury. That's a good pickup for them. That will help them get a little bit more pressure in this game.
Yeah, they extend their lead to pretty close to 5K. They're just about there on it.
If you remember correctly, the last game we saw something very, very similar. The Knights came back really strong in late game.
Yeah.
The end of that game, their team fights were absolutely insane.
Yeah. I think this game is all about Operation Keep Hera Alive.
Hera does do a lot of damage.
And that polymorph is just absolutely ridiculous. No DR on that.
Very true. Plus, it's on a pretty low cooldown, especially with a Chrono stat early.
Yeah.
That's a very low cooldown.
I was like, how much cooldown? 10%. 30%?
That's max right
That
there.
is capped cooldown. Capped cooldown already. She is just looking to put out those abilities as much as she can, and she is more than happy to do it.
See a lot of pings coming out on the map though, as we're looking to set up a fire giant. It looks like.
Yeah, but good news, at least for the Knights, they have wave pressure in duo lane. So that's at least going for them a little bit, as the tier 1 tower almost goes down. Someone just has to go and sneeze on it.
Just sneeze on it once and it'll fall. It looks like a chess piece over there. Come on.
Achoo! Bless you.
Do see quite a bit of wards coming out from the Archon Lords though. It is giving them some really solid objective rotations and awareness.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of red.
It is a lot of red.
Eh. I don't know which one's better. Oh.
I do recognize that they're going to be starting that pull on the Pyromancer with the help of Sun Wukong spotting it, and they're going to have to try to rotate that really quickly.
Yeah. Iron is over on the other side of the map, so the Knights are going to be super careful. The Suki ult comes out and pulls Hera back.
This is a very big portal. Hera is taking a massive amount of damage. Suki only wound up silencing the kill. His Emoja ult is going to come out. Rivers are big, trying to shut that Ganesh into the fight, but he does end up sneaking out of it.
Yeah.
Through space and time will also be trying to clip somebody. Will not find its target in this case. Chiron will be able to try and dash out, but the stun from the King Arthur is going to be a lot to handle, so he is going to have to be very careful with his next fight.
Yeah. The Archon Lords recognize that Chiron was over in the left jungle, and he wasn't there. He wasn't there, and they went ahead and they took that fight.
They did take that fight, and it will now end up being a fire giant fight, as the Archon Lords are pulling it as we speak. The Knights are trying to gain back some of the ground that they've lost in the previous fight, but they just can't quite seem to get close enough. And the Lords will end up dropping the fire giants off, trying to focus out these kills to prevent them from going any further. This Ganesh ult will be popped out. as we see a low HP Ganesh, and Hunbat's taking quite a bit of damage of his own.
Yeah, we're looking for that big Hunbat soul. It's here somewhere. It won't be here for this fight.
The huge Tsukiyomi all through space and time also going right through the heart of them. They took a lot of damage recently. The Knights are gonna have to back out of this fight.
Yep, and the Archon Lords are gonna go right back to the fire, and they're gonna do it one more time. Oh no! Blazing Raven just absolutely wrecked just Spartacus's day. Just CC after CC. And a really good Hunbat's ult will even the ground. And that'll be carry for solo.
Very, very strong always coming out from the Hunbats. I am very much enjoying that pickup.
Yeah, it'll be enough to push him out of the Fire Giant, which is really good for the Knights at this point. And at this point of the game, where Achilles was down 1 or 2 levels, he's even. Good job on him.
Much. He's been doing a phenomenal job up in the solo lane.
Mm-hmm. Look at network. We have the junglers at the very top. With Achilles just about a K down from the Hunkler. It's not too bad considering the circumstances.
So I'm surprised how the Knights has been in. We have not seen Fire Giants here just yet.
Yeah, it is a gold period that's gonna go the Archon Lord's way, just to pile up that gold lead that they already have. And I just noticed the 2-level lead in the mid lane and the 1-level lead in the support, and wow! And now actually, Achilles has the XP lead on Honkler.
That is very surprising.
Doesn't have a gold lead, but he does have. He is ahead in XP.
That is a very big play for Achilles. That beautifully played by him.
Yeah.
Uncler has been getting a lot of early game aggression on him, and he's been able to pull out. Excuse me. Been able to pull out the pressure on him consistently. That Arthur having insane pressure early game, but now Sun Wukong going into that mid to late game, he gets quite a bit of pressure back, and he's able to hold off considerably well.
As a Honkler, I would be insulted if I was 7-3-7 and I wasn't ahead on XP or on XP.
Yeah, I can see that. But you see a lot of damage coming out. Ganesh will end up coming out. Hunbats will end up securing the kill onto the Dense Bro. Will end up finding a double kill onto the Tsukiyomi as well. And that is the third in his killing spree set, as King Arthur is now very low. Hunbats will end up with a triple kill. Now looking for the final kills, will end up finding the Emoji very, very low. Who beats for it. Chiron will end up picking out that kill onto the Emoji. King Arthur now getting chased over in the soul lane. He's pretty much a one-shot now. Argus being dropped very, very soon. Down. Argus barely makes it out with a sliver of health, but Arthur is still alive.
Yeah, and this is
out to the stage.
This is an easy fire giant call. Well, they only have one person up. King Arthur's back, so they have conceded this fire giant, and the Knights again bringing it back and taking a fire giant.
The Knights have been playing this beautifully. Their team setup has been insane.
I don't know what they're doing, but I want some of it. Like, just they're getting the team engagements when they need them, and absolutely coming into these fights and wrecking.
I do like seeing that Sundering Axe picked up, though. I love Sundering Axe.
I would like to make an argument for the Hero's Axe. Anybody affected by CC gets a nice chunk, gets a nice shield. But no, well, won't ever complain about a Sundering Axe.
I do love it. Especially when it's good protections. That is some pretty nutty poke that you can pull off.
Mm-hmm.
The dudes that T2 tower on the left lane there following. Got a lot of pressure, especially having that fire giant buff active. The Knights want to push this all the way.
Always a lucky card of my
Big engagement.
Huge engagement mounted. Especially with the Emojo ult being popped. Tsukiyomi will end up finalizing that kill, being very low himself though. The Hunbat's being taken out is a very good thing. As we do have a very, very low HP bar in the back line. Achilles is looking quite low. So Aaron will end up falling. Hero will end up picking up the kill as well, but Tsukiyomi will find yet another kill. That is 3 for 1 so far in this fight.
I think it's an okay trade. I don't love it, but I think it's okay. Trade out 3 people for a tower and a phoenix. I think the Archon Lords will be able to, if they're quick enough, push down mid, get a tower for themselves, and set up for next Fire Giant.
Setting up for the fire giant is an especially big play too. Especially at this stage of the game, it can be very, very important. Just getting rewarded for coverage.
And good news, and they now have wave pressure on both sides, but they will have those fire minions coming up the left side, but they do have enough time to kind of regather themselves, spend some gold, and keep pushing up. Now, I just kind of looked at this now. Look at the relics right now for both teams. Nobody has relics up, basically. There's a shell and 3 Aegises. Well, and a beads out of 10 people. Well, they're actually all coming up right now, but like, that is one thing that they're gonna have to be worried about. Hold off until they can get these relics up and get a good fight open. Otherwise, they're gonna have a little trouble going into the next team fight. Fire Giant spawning here soon, and they're looking for this Hera. With Fire Giant spawning, everybody's got ultimates. Oh, Hera's back. Oh, and we even have Yanis in right lane. But it's could be a good opportunity to get some to get this team fight in. Hera's coming up, but they're just gonna get her just in time for that. Time for there to be a 5v5 fight here. Did I lose you, Lamb? Okay.
All in.
Osman. And they gotta be real careful. The King Arthur's in the back line. And Tsukiyomi's getting blown up, and Blazing Raven is the first person to take a fall. And Yanis
Paradigm's coming out in this late game will be huge, as we now see a very low HP on the Yana. He will end up getting picked up by the Hera as well. King Arthur will end up shutting down on the Spartacus. That Chiron will end up falling to the King Arthur. As we now see them chasing down that Dinbro, he's very, very low. And we'll see Achilles will sit going front of the goes. Now King Arthur is next up on this menu. He's taking a lot of damage. Hunbats will end up finishing.
Why is Ganesh backing? Run it down mid! This Yamoja's baiting you!
They have been debated just a little bit on that.
Yeah, this is the right idea. They're
Yep, they're just gonna push up left line. Yeah.
they're going through left lane. They're not even worried about this
They're not
Yamoja.
stopping for towers or anything.
And this Yamoja is gonna have a real hard time. There's fire minions. And three people here. There's actually 4 people here, and the Tsukiyomi comes in.
Tsukiyomi is now up, especially the ult, the Ganesh ult, and the Humpbats all coming out at the same time, dishing out a lot of damage off both Tsukiyomi, Muja, and the Titan. You're gonna be taking a lot of damage from the area. Be careful, they take a lot of damage as well. The Titan is super low HP. Will it be enough? Oh, it was enough. Hera barely finishing off the Titan.
Oh my god, it was so close.
Just a sliver of health left.
Yeah. Hunbats popped ult, Ganesh popped ult, and so did Suki. Everybody was trying to get as much damage as they often. Fortunately, once again, a come behind victory for the Knights.
What a beautiful play. Wow.
Yeah, just absolutely big plays coming from the Knights, and GG's to everybody.
Phenomenally played on literally everybody's part in this last game. They played really, really well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, great job, Dad. Wow, I just had that yell come in. Oh my gosh.
Although actually, as we were talking about it, there's the alternate timeline as well in the era.
Yeah, I think it, like, I just freaking love it. Like 70 magical power, 45 protections from both magic and physical, and 10% cooldown. And you get to come back, and you get to come back to life, put out another ability at minimum, basically. I think it is low-key very good.
It does have great potential. Very, very cheese item though.
Man, I think the protections are enough.
They're
Actually, the
huge.
protections were enough to keep Hera alive.
They were.
So, alternate timeline gets her the win. I think. I kind of love it.
It's a fantastic item. Very, very cheese, but it does still have the potential to do pretty much everything and more. And Hera certainly made it work.
Yeah, some stats. So 32k damage from the Hera.
Yeah.
Friggin' Honkler. Friggin' top layer damage for his team. Absolutely laying it down with the King Arthur. Just absolutely doing his damage to be the front line for his team. Just absolutely did so well this game.
He's a little bit upset after the last game. He was coming back from more, and he was not going to take no for an answer this time. And he certainly put it out.
Mm-hmm.
27k damage on that King Arthur. He did a phenomenal job in that solo lane. Really kept Achilles at bay, too.
Yeah. I got to give my MVP for game 2 to QWERTY though. Crudes.
The Hunbats was huge.
I think the Hunbat's ults were just absolutely big.
They were
for
very,
for
very
their-
impactful.
Yeah, just the Hunbat's ults were just absolutely critical to some of
They
these
were.
team fights and picks.
They were very, very crucial.
Yeah. And once again, just Blazing Raven also putting on a freaking show on this Tsukiyomi. There was definitely just at the beginning of the game, he was just absolutely everywhere. There was one point he literally went from mid to duo. He went back to mid for another gank, and then he went straight to solo and ganked Achilles, and I think he got at least 3 kills out of all those rotations. It just he did an absolute friggin' great job jungling, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely. If I had to pick a team exclusive MVP, it would have to go to Tsukiyomi for this game too.
Yeah,
Both
definitely.
the junglers played phenomenally in this one. It was a lot of fun to watch them going about their business, and they certainly put out the work.
I agree. Now, the set MVP.
The whole set MVP. I have a lot of trouble picking out set MVPs because everybody is always up to something good. They're always contributing to their team a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I felt like it was just a huge team effort from
It
the
really
Knights.
was. The
But
team fight that they had was massive.
and man, I don't know.
It's a tough call.
Chat, what are you thinking? Who's the set MVP? I want to see it in the chat. I don't know. They all played really good. GJ Snow just played really good. I thought Achilles did really well holding out and being a good front line. He mitigated 40,000 damage.
He did. He mitigated a lot.
Me and Achilles would have competitions when we were playing together. Who would mitigate the most damage? He would usually beat me.
I do got a shout out to GJ Snow with that 45k mitigated.
Yeah, it's true. 24 wards gotta come from GJ Snow too.
Yeah, very, very big amount. Crayons also with 23
23
wards right there with them.
Yeah, and 8k player healing.
That absolutely kept his team in the fight.
Yeah. Nobody is saying anything in the chat about who's set MVP. So I am just gonna give my vote to set MVP as a QWERTY.
Jungle is a very impactful role, and I think QWERTY certainly put out enough work to prove that in this set, especially in this game too. Those ultimates, Fear No Evil coming out, was just such a massive area of denial for the other team. They could not come close to it without getting destroyed.
Yeah, with an honorable mention to Blazing Raven.
Of course, Blazing Raven did a phenomenal job. He was mounting that defense. He saw his team trying to fight it, and Honkler as well. They said, this is how it's going to happen. We're not going to give this up. And they never gave up from start to finish. And Blazing Raven, especially with that double kill at the end of the game there, that was a very valiant effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll say so. Awesome. Well, hey, Ray. Thanks for joining us for today's stream. Glad we've had 31 to 32 people, actually 28 to 32 people here watching the games. So it's very nice to get some good miners viewership watching the game. Liam, before we cut out, any final thoughts?
Off the top of my head, all I got is thank you everybody for joining us. This has been a fantastic set to be watching. I had a lot of fun with these. That was a phenomenal set to watch yet again. Just so far, QSL Season 3 has been a lot of fun to be doing. We've had some incredible games being played out here. I'm really glad everybody was able to make it out tonight to come and watch. This was a ton of fun. I have been your host, Jiren Lamb, and this is the man, the myth, the legend, Hercules.
Yep. Good night, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.